Hi, this is Maginoni, and I thought today I'll give you a Cliff Note version of who Thanos is. Now, the reason why I decided to take a Cliff Note approach is I think if you really look back at his history, even though he's important to the Marvel Universe, it's pretty much the same thing. He wants to impress his girlfriend won't give him the time of day, superheroes come in and save everybody. And I don't want to bog this video down as to who he is with every single battle that took place. I can do that on a later time where we can actually go into a little bit more detail with the events that happened and why those things are really important to Marvel history. Okay, so now Thanos, he was born on Saturn's moon Titan, and he had parents that were from a race called Eternals. His father was Mentor, and his mom was Sui-san. Now, unfortunately for Thanos, he carried a gene from the Deviants, and he shared their general appearance. That's why, like, when you look at Eternals, you'll see they look very human-like, but Thanos is, purple, he's ugly, grotesque. Now, I'm sure what also didn't help is he had a brother, and his brother is named Star Fox. And, Star Fox is quite the ladies' man in the Marvel Universe. Now, Thanos did not have a happy childhood, and he started to become obsessed with death. Eventually what happens is he decides to give himself some cybernetics, and he actually becomes really powerful. And along with his fascination for death, he begins to worship death, and he falls in love with the physical embodiment of death. Now, you would think, to impress a girl, you would do something like maybe give her flowers or give her candy or, maybe treat her dinner. No, not with Thanos. Thanos knew that kind of childish behavior wouldn't work with Mistress Death. So he decides to gather an army, and he launches a nuclear bombardment on Titan, and he kills millions of his own race. Well, that kind of got Death's attention a little bit, but overall, they're still not dating. Now, he sets himself up as ruler and of Titan, and he begins to his quest for more power. Now, to assist Thanos on his quest for power, he first looks for the cosmic cube on Earth. Unfortunately for Thanos, when he goes to Earth for the first time to look for the cube, he manages to kill a person by the name of Arthur Douglas, who happens to be traveling with his daughter. And basically, Thanos was like, I can't have anybody see me here, so he kills him. Now, these two characters become important later on in the storyline, because the daughter eventually becomes Moondragon, and Moondragon is a powerful telepath. And Arthur, his spirit goes into a empty body vessel, and he becomes Drax the Destroyer. Now, while Moondragon has her own will and her own personality, Drax basically, he has one key thought, and that is, I will kill Thanos. Nobody else can get in my way, because if you do, there's going to be some trouble. Now, luckily for the Marvel Universe, even though Thanos does gain immense power through the Cosmic Cube, there are cosmic allies who are able to stop him, like, for example, Captain Marvel. Now, after that defeat, we start seeing Thanos go into the comic book called Warlock. And what happens is, in Warlock there's a guy by the name of Magnus, and he is basically the anti-version of Warlock, and he's supposed to become this great, powerful destroyer. Thanos realizes that Magnus is going to interfere with his plans, so he does he allies himself with Warlock, and he has his daughter Gamora help assist that. Now, Gamora realizes after Magnus is defeated that the real threat is Thanos. Now, this is really important here because the thing is, with Warlock, he has a thing called the Soul Gem. The gem is really important because this is one of the 6 components to the Infinity Gauntlet. There's 6 different gems, and each gem has a different ability. Like, for example, there's one for power, reality, mind, space, time, and soul. In this case, with Warlock, his gem allows him to like steal, control, manipulate, alter souls, living or dead, and it's basically a gateway to a pocket universe. Now, the thing is, if you gather all of these gems together, you can form the Infinity Gauntlet, and this would give you basically unlimited power. Now, this is where Thanos, I guess you can say, first is really introduced into all of this, and he begins his quest then for the Infinity Gauntlet. So, like any other guy who's trying to impress his girlfriend, Thanos decides to take things up a step further. You know, like instead of, I don't know, for an example, lifting an extra 10 pounds or, you know, maybe doing something creatively, he decides to assemble the Infinity Gauntlet and wipes out half the universe in a blink of an eye. Well, unfortunately for Thanos, that gets the attention to cosmic superheroes, and basically almost all of the Marvel Universe, at least the heroes, join in on this big smackdown on Thanos. Now, as you can imagine, there's like a huge, gigantic, intergalactic battle. You have superheroes, and then there's a bunch of cosmic entities. And after defeating, or either imprisoning or defeating the entities, he basically leaves his body and becomes like the living embodiment of the universe. Well, that leaves his body vulnerable to his alleged granddaughter, Nebula. Now, Nebula, you know, not one for missing an opportunity, she takes the gauntlet, and then she undoes all of Thanos' actions. She brings all the dead back to life, and she reverses all the damage that was done. After doing that, then there's the round 2, and then the superheroes are finally able to beat Thanos. He eventually, we later find out, is basically a farmer, you know, like a hermit living on a planet somewhere. Now, after Thanos decides to live on the farm for a while, he does have a few other adventures, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip to more present time, because I think this is where we get to the meat of what's going on with Thanos' character, and this was actually some pretty exciting stories. What happened was, this centered around the Guardians of the Galaxy. There was a group of cosmic events called Annihilation, Annihilation Conquest, and this was basically when there was an extinction-like annihilation wave that swept through the universe, killing everything in its path. Now, a bunch of the cosmic heroes got together, including Thanos, to stop this threat from happening. Well, because of this threat, the Guardians of the Galaxy formed, you know, to be more proactive to prevent this from happening. And when it seemed like there was just one threat after another, until we eventually got to Thanos Imperative. Now, this miniseries dealt with interdimensional attack, where it's referred to as the Cancerverse because there was a character by the name of Captain Marvel. He died of cancer, and in this universe, he's like there's like a twisted, evil version of him, and this universe basically was the exact opposite of superheroes. Every superhero was like a demonic version of themselves, and this universe also did not have an embodiment of death. There was just life, which was Marvel. Now, unfortunately or fortunately, depending upon how you want to look at it, Thanos would have been their embodiment of death. And the only way that they would have been safe is if, you know, one of those two died. So what they do, the heroes do, is they get Thanos and they're going to launch an attack against the Cancerverse. Well, Marvel knows that this is what's going on. He attacks, Thanos gives himself up, and he arrives over in the other universe. Now, Marvel realizes he was tricked by this. Death comes to, you know, claim Thanos, but Thanos gets spurred yet again, and Death leaves. This enrages Thanos, and because Death is now in their universe, what happens is it causes a ripple effect, where the universe is destroying itself, and all those characters are just getting wiped out. Well, the Guardians of the Galaxy needed to protect our galaxy. So Star-Lord and Nova sacrifice themselves, and they stay behind to ensure that Thanos doesn't escape again. Well, we all know that that didn't really happen the way they planned on it, because he appeared again in Avengers Assemble. And of course, that issue happened because they're preparing it for the movie. But anyways, as you can see, Thanos basically has this, anytime he appears, it's going to be some sort of cosmic event, because he's always looking to annihilate either half the universe or all of the universe to impress his mistress Death. And for one reason or another, she's just never happy. She's very finicky, and that always drives Thanos mad. Which, come on, think about it. If you killed half the universe and then your girlfriend says, not impressed, what do? You table flip and then you lose the battle, But anyways, what I can do is give you some suggested reads. Now, some of this is going to be easy, some of this might be a little bit more difficult to find, but pretty much everything should be able to found through a various trade or two. Now, to find out more about Thanos during the Warlock years, what you want to do is you want to look for Warlock number 9 through 11. That should give you some background on who Warlock is, some early information on Gamora, and a little bit about the Magnus. The Magnus is another character who comes back through time repeatedly, and he's also another very cosmic-powered villain that wants to destroy. Now, there's also 2 annuals that came out, Avengers Annual 7 and Marvel 2-in-1 Annual 2. Both of those deal with early appearances of Thanos and dealing with, like, the Avengers. There's also the Thanos Quest. It was a very short miniseries. I believe that's also been collected. The Infinity Gauntlet is a definite must-read if you want to understand anything about Thanos. I did do a video on the Infinity Gauntlet trade, so I would definitely, you might want to take a look for that. For the current stuff, there's Annihilation, and there's also like a Silver Surfer miniseries that's dealing with Annihilation, and also he does appear in Guardians of the Galaxy, but the main thing is Thanos Imperative. Those are your key books right there. Now, if you want to know how he gets back, you have to read Avengers Assemble. I unfortunately did not read it because I just looked at that as basically they're trying to retcon it for the movie, and I didn't want any part of that. But anyways, those are your key books right there. I know there will be somebody out there who will go, Majinoni, what about this issue here? What about that issue? And you're right, there are other issues that are out there. There's like some Iron Mans, there's the other Infinity type storylines, and Thanos had his own miniseries. And I'm not trying to belittle any of those issues, but I didn't want to also put down a list of every single one of his appearances, because if you did that, then what's the point of just trying to get a general idea of what's going on before the movie. Anyways, if you have any comments or questions, let me know. Rate the video up or down, let me know what you think. Like the Facebook link, and because I give out free comics. I also do Crunchyroll videos, anime reviews. There's a link there, and I'll do more cosmic videos later, but it's just going to take a little bit of time to put them all together. So anyways, until next time.